Welcome to PhotoshopUser TV, brought to you by the National Association of Photoshop Professionals. And now, here are your hosts, the Photoshop guys.
Well, hi everyone, welcome to PhotoshopUser TV. Today we have a very special episode. It is our special holiday wish list with the Photoshop guys. I'm Corey Barker and I'm here with Mr. R.C. Concepcion.
What's going on, everybody? How are you guys doing? I was just actually setting up mirroring for my phone because I'm going to want to show some stuff on this.
You are too tech nerdy and I love it.
I'm sorry, I'm trying.
I love it so much.
Trying.
We are also joined by, over in the weather station, Mr. Pete Collins. How are you?
I'm doing all right, guys.
Yes, yes.
Good
The
to be
spotlight
here.
is not so bright today.
Yes, I'm here.
So, as you can see, we are missing a couple of guys. Matt is actually out for the week for the holidays, as well as Scott. They're both out of town, so we wish them well and hope they have a good Thanksgiving. So we wanted to bring you some of our
Gear stuff.
favorite gear stuff.
Right, and this is all inspired from the newest episode of PhotoshopUser that has a gear guide in it. So this is some of the things that Scott works with and thinks that other photographers out there would also appreciate and enjoy. So basically every year he gets together a series of different things that he recommends on the gear guide and he covers them inside of PhotoshopUser magazine.
And this is fresh off the press, so if you haven't gotten it yet, be looking for it in the mail in the next few days. You should be getting it if you're a NAP member.
A couple of different things that I thought that were really, really good, and some of the stuff we were going to talk about here as well. And we were like, well, we don't just want to necessarily do Scott's list, and I'm not Corey Barker. I don't know who that is, but that's him.
That's me.
Over on that side. But some of the things that they talk about here are, really, really cool and are worth mentioning, but we kind of had our own things that we wanted to add to it. Like Pete,
I even, when I was looking through it, I was like, man, I've been meaning to get one of those. Yes, I need to get one of those. I'm like, my wife is going to kill me for looking through this magazine because it reminded me of the little gadgets and stuff I wanted to get.
So rather than waste your time talking about just what the gear guide is, we figured it'd be a good idea for us to just kind of jump in and start talking about it. Corey, there's a couple of things that you have.
I actually have a few things, and one of my most favorite things is actually, and in this world of tablet craziness, this little device right here, I don't know if you can zoom in and see like this. This is the bamboo stylus, there we go, right there, for tablets, for your tablet and everything like that. So it's just a pen. It has a nice solid feel to it. It's really nice. It's got the little rubber tip on it. And I've got my iPad right here, and I'll show you. It actually has a companion app that you can get with it for free. It's called Bamboo Paper, and you can see this app right here. This is called My Notes, so I'll just go in there and turn this on, and it brings you this little page right here. And you can go right here and just draw, and it's very fluid. I mean, it really feels like you're drawing, and you can actually go in here and choose different types of things like pens and markers, and really just do in here and do all kinds of fun sketching and stuff. But it works for everything you do in your tablet. If you don't want to use your finger all the time and do things, you can go in here and launch apps, launch browsers and things like that right here with this tablet. It's not that expensive.
You know what I usually tell people for that? Sorry to cut you off on that. Was model releases.
Absolutely.
Right, if you're a photographer and you're out shooting, you're doing model releases, a lot of the times it just feels dumb to turn around and go, use your finger and grab it and then just turn around and just start swiping. But this way, it's just a little bit more formal.
And of course, Larry Becker in our office, who's the executive producer of NAP, he uses it. He actually has an app where he doesn't really like to use the keyboard. He'll actually just write stuff and it translates it to text right there on your tablet. So if you're used to writing, you don't want to really get away from traditional writing, you can actually get an app and actually do this and have it handy in there. So,
well, and the funny you should mention, Larry and I really kind of go back and forth on styli are really important for how they interact with the screen, and we haven't found one that does a better job as far as grippiness or not grippiness. You get some of these others that you'll buy, the cheaper ones and stuff like that, and they just grab the screen, and it makes drawing just kind of a nightmare. The bamboo stylus is one of my favorites. I use it for sketching. I take it all the time, and I'm using it for drawing. It's the go-to stylus that I use.
Absolutely. And then contrary to what you might think, it does not register pressure like a Wacom pen does. However, it has that little rubber tip. It's got some play in it, so you actually feel pressure in a sense, but it's not registering it on the actual app. But you said there was an app that does.
No, there's another pen that's coming out that does, but I won't mention that now because then we might get in trouble. And
I thought that was an app, yes. But this is a fabulous device. Check it out. It's around $40, $35, $40 retail, and fantastic device. Definitely something you want to have if you're doing a lot of creative stuff on your tablet.
I may keep it on you because you just did this. and you pulled it off of one of my favorite things.
Absolutely, yes. This is the other thing, the other toy I have.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so actually, I'll love for you to join me on this one. This stand right here, I actually saw RC have one of these, and I was blown away by it. This is Element Case.
Right. It's a jewel stand. It's called a jewel stand.
It's called a jewel stand, and it's solid. I mean, this is a really heavy, solid device. And it's got this little kickstand on it, and it's got these 3 adjustable little holes on it, so you can adjust the angle at which.
So that, sets it up really, really nicely. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I liked about it, right? When I would set it up like this, right, one of the things that I liked about how robust it was that I could sit there and I could, of course, I would do that. Like, here, let me just turn that off. Right, it was very robust, and it would just sit there, and that I thought was really, really cool. So this is an older version of the Element Case Jewel, right?
Yeah.
So it had the 3 holes that sit here on the top, and you're literally given this kind of stick, and you go, all right, well, stick it in the hole, whichever hole you want to put it in, right? But
whatever angle you want it to be,
at whatever angle.
And you've got the.
Now this is the newer one. So the newer one that they have here took it to the next level. Because what this did is they gave you this stick, but it comes with a little thread on it, right? Now you can go ahead and you can actually screw it in. And now what's even better about this is once that's set, it actually, you can tip it from whatever direction you want. So now you can get it exactly how you want it, and it sits very, very well. So what I do is I usually pack that in my book bag, and that's what I use when I'm on a plane. Yeah. To set that kind of stuff up. So if you guys want to see more on that, make sure that you go to elementcase.com. Right here in this website, you have access to all of the different products.
Not to mention they have fantastic iPhone cases.
Yep.
Got an Element Case.
They just came out with this, the iPhone 5. They came out with the Sector 5, which is an iPhone 5 case.
Absolutely.
So those are 2 things. Now, Pete, what do you have? What kind of gear do you have?
I have 3/8. No, one of my favorites that shows up, even I'm in an ad on Photoshop magazine. Me and Matt love the spider holster. This is one of my favorite things. If you were at Photoshop World, you saw me standing by the booth trying to get people to buy this thing. I have used it everywhere. It's one of my favorite products. It takes the weight off of your shoulders, puts it on your hips, and just a phenomenal product. You need to go to spiderholster.com, check it out, but it is awesome. One of my favorite gear of the year.
Very, very cool. Now, do you have another recommendation?
I do. Well, the funny thing is, as I told you, I was looking through Photoshop User, and it reminded me kind of some things that I've been meaning to get for a while. And if I go back over to the B&H website, I go look at this thing that I have been telling myself I need to get for a while now, and it's the teleconverter. This is the Canon 1.4 teleconverter, and some people may not know what that does, but I have a 70 to 200 lens. If I then take that and put it on between the camera and the lens, it extends the range of that lens an extra 1.4. Now, you do lose a stop of light, but think about if you've got a 200 multiplied by 1.4, that is actually just the 280. It actually goes out even further, and so it gives you a more of a telephoto shot to your lens, and it's going to still give you a low f-stop. And so it's really a neat thing to have when you're going to go out, and I've got another one that is 1 to 400. That's going to bump it out close to 560. It's going to be great. So anyway, that's kind of a specialty thing, but it's one of those things that if you go shoot sports, you shoot anything like that, you'll see everybody out there has a tele extender in their bag when they need that little extra push, and they don't want to lose a lot of light, but they also don't want to carry a super big lens.
Yeah. Nice.
So I love that, and hopefully my wife will get it for me for Christmas. Hint, hint, if you're watching.
Yes, of course.
She's not watching.
She never watches me. She's tired of seeing me.
But look, we've talked about a bunch of products. So we have 1, 2, 3 products, 4 products. Let's talk about a tip.
Exactly. You know, we can't do the show without talking a little bit about Photoshop. So I've got a little quick something, and then we're going to get back to the gear guide. So this is a little something with brushes, you know, and obviously there's a lot of craze with flares in images and design these days. So just wanted to show you a really quick tip on how you can create your own flare brush. And actually have techniques for creating these from scratch, but in this case, it's a stock image I've got here. And you can see I've got this really cool flare. And the bad part is that it's a flat image. It's against a black background. Well, we've got to extract this element in order to be able to make it a brush. or at least, do some things to it. Well, the first thing is we're not going to worry about any of the color. So I'm actually going to go and press Shift-Command-U, which takes all the color out of the image. Then I'm going to invert it. Press Command or Control-I, or just simply go under Image Adjustments, Invert. Flips it around. Now the flare is basically, it's inverted. So I'm going to do a levels adjustment just to make sure the background is pure white. Just going to bring the white slider in here just a little bit. And there we go. So now up here in the edge, if I were to move this, let's actually unlock the layer. And if I move this over, you can see it's got a bit of a hard edge on that. So I'm going to take my gradient tool and set my foreground color to white, and I'm going to change the blend mode of the brush to overlay. And this is going to allow me to force a lot of the area to white, but not too much. Notice how the flare, some of the darker areas of the flare stay intact, and that's because of the use of that blend mode. And all I'm really doing is just getting rid of those harsh edges there because that flare is so close. Now, I'm ready to go ahead and turn it into a brush. Now, I don't have to make a selection or do anything like that because in Photoshop, when you define a brush, it ignores everything that's white, makes it transparent. And then everything that's dark or gray becomes part of the brush. So I'm going to go under Edit, Define Brush Preset. And we'll just call it Flare.
Ric Flair.
Maybe next time.
Sorry, I've been holding that one for a little while.
Yes, okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and we'll create a new layer. Well, let's just fill that with black. And let's just see what we've got here as far as the behavior of my brush. So I'm going to go and select the brush tool. And in the brush menu here, it's going to be the very last item in there. So there we go. And it actually takes on the shape of the brush. And if I just click once, I've got, hey, look at that. I've got a flare brush. Very cool. So now that is defined as a brush and now lives inside Photoshop and is ready whenever I need it. So all I'm going to do is just take an image like this. And let's say I wanted to add a little bit of pizzazz to this image here. I'm going to go into my brush options actually and flip this on the x-axis. So it's going the other direction. Notice what happens when I did that? It's going this way. And if I flip X, it goes the other way. And if I just add a little flare here, ooh. Ching. It adds a little something to that image in no time at all. And the best part is that that brush now lives inside Photoshop. Anytime I'm working on something, I'm saying, you know what? It needs a little spicy flair. I can go and grab that brush, bam, it's done, and you're ready to go.
Now, nice. Corey, can I ask you a question? Will you have to save that brush somewhere? What happens if you close up or anything? Is that brush going to stay?
It's going to stay in there. When you define that brush, it stays in there, and until you go in there and manually delete it out of Photoshop or save it out as a brush set, it's going to stay in there. So you don't have to worry about it. I can close that flare image. It won't do anything to the brush that's been defined. It'll stay in there.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we've got a couple of different things. I've got an entire setup over there that I want to talk to you guys about. So there's going to be tons of information, tons of tips, tons of tricks, tons of products. You're going to want this holiday season. Stick around. We'll be right back. All right.
Wow.
Well, hi, we are back. So I've been abandoned by RC. He left me. He actually wanted to get his gear guide set up. But we wanted to talk about a couple more things, Pete and I over here, about Cyber Monday. Actually, we all know Black Friday's coming up, and it's a big shopping day, but we have something special called Cyber Monday for a lot of great deals that you'll want to check out. So you're going to first go to, we got Kelby Training Books, 15% off plus free shipping. If you go to promo code FREESHIP at kelbytraining.com, you can get an excellent deal on that.
And then we have Kelby Training DVDs. If you will get 15% off plus free shipping if you use the promo code FRESH with 2 E's 12. So I guess that'd be FREESH 12.
Freesh 12, of course. All right, now you can get a NAP membership. If you join NAP, you will get an extra 3 months, plus what's new in CS6 DVD. And that promo code is CyberNew. Be sure to check that out.
And this is what a lot of people are looking for. It's the NAP Renew. You're going to get 6 extra months for free with the NAP membership, and you use the promo code CyberRenew.
That's, of course, if you're getting a renewal. Cool. Now, you can get also NAP and Kelby training. Join or renew, combine both for only $199. And that promo code is Cyber60. That's Kelby training and a NAP membership combined. And that's a great deal right there, absolutely. So.
That is a great deal. And thinking about Orlando, Photoshop World Orlando coming up, you can call in only for this one. All you can do is call in for this one, but it's bring a buddy for $299. So if you've got a friend who you've been trying to get to Photoshop World, this is a great deal. And the promo code, I guess, when you call up is to say Cyber+1.
That would be the promo password if you're doing a call-in, of course. Now, of course, and online you can save an extra $50 plus a free speed pass. I assume that's for Photoshop World. Promo code CyberExtra, so be sure to check that out. There's a bunch of cyber deals. Again, you can go to PhotoshopUser.com and Kelby Training, find out more. Check those out. All right, we are back with our gear guy. We're going to jump over to RC, who I see has just a table full of cool gear.
A plethora of products.
A plethora.
Yeah. And there's just a bunch of different things that I wanted to do in various levels of expense, right? Starting from least expensive and working our way up to a bunch of different things. And this is actually based on some real world travel that I've done and things like that, things that I thought that were really nice. So here, let me show you this. First thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and grab my phone and make sure that my phone's connected so we can see everything that we want from here. Now, right off the bat, if you're using an iPhone, right, you're used to taking pictures with it, right? It looks pretty straightforward, right? It's not too bad. But here's the thing. We want to grab this. Let's see. I'm going to make sure that we can see this. Yep, you can see me, done. Now, the problem is that the field of view that you have with an iPhone is actually relatively narrow, right? What I want to do is I want to make sure that I extend that field of view. So this is the Olloclip. The Olloclip is a great, great attachment that you can have to add to your camera to extend that field of view. So there are 3 different attachments to this. If you have your regular camera set up, if you take this and you clip it right on it, automatically it turns this into a wide angle lens. So now we're looking at a wide angle shot. This is a normal shot. So there's a normal shot right there, right?
Well, I wouldn't call that too normal.
Take a look, that's wide angle. So that's a lot of addition that it does to it. But it gets better, watch this. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab it now and see I had this on like this. I'm gonna flip it and turn it into a fisheye. So now we have the regular shot. I'm gonna grab this, fisheye shot. So now you can see a whole bunch of different things. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Gets even better still. Watch this.
But
You
wait,
take your
there's
wide
more.
angle,
There's more. If you order now, get a free set of wind chimes.
you take this out, you take the wide angle out, and now that same thing is turned into a macro lens. So watch, I'm gonna go ahead and do it right on top of this D800. So now, there I am, right? Not focusing, there it's kind of focusing, but now I'll attach it and watch.
Wow.
So if you ever wanted to do macro work with your iPhone, obviously I'm very nervous. But other than that, if you ever wanted to do that, that I think is really, really cool. So Olloclip is something that I was playing with and I was like, it's all right. But when I was out in Utah doing some shoots, I can't tell you how much more time I spent with my iPhone just experimenting with this. So if you want to see more of that kind of stuff, you can always just go to olloclip.com, and olloclip.com is the
Now, that'll work on the 4 and 5 iPhones?
Yes, they do have a 5 and a 4. So the 5 is kind of like in production, I guess. They're on their way out. Okay. So that's one thing.
Cool.
2, you have your camera. You're taking a picture of a child. So guess what happens? You're taking a picture of the child, taking a picture of the child. This is the D800. Obviously, it goes without saying, this is what you should get for Christmas for me. But let's say you're taking a picture of the child. You know what happens with a parent? Parents turn around and go, oh, look over here. Oh, look over here. Oh, look over here. They're looking up here. Your camera's right here. Your child's up here, right? So what does the child do? And all your pictures have the child looking slightly up or slightly to the left. This is brilliant. Switch over on my screen to the Tether Tools page. Tether Tools just came up with this thing called a look lock. So it's this contraption, right? And what it does is a cold shoe, and you click on the cold shoe and you put it onto that, you screw on the cold shoe.
I don't know where it is.
Now, once we do that, this is an articulating arm. So if you turn this knob here, you can move this around wherever you want it. So let's go ahead and Pete, go to tethertools.com.
All right.
And bring up the thing. So now, once I get this exactly where we want it, I'm going to screw it in place, and guess what? Now I'll turn around and I'll grab my phone and I'll put on something for the child. Let's say PBS Kids. Now I'll go ahead and I'll grab it, I'll clip it right there, and I'll adjust it. So guess where the child's looking? Right at Elmo, right at Big Bird. So they're looking exactly in the field of view that you need them to see, and I'm getting the shot that I want.
That's the carrot hanging from the fishing pole.
This is brilliant. I saw this, and you can get this over at tethertools.com. If you go to their product section, they have a section for the look lock system.
I've got it up on my
I
screen.
thought that was absolutely awesome.
That is cool, yeah.
Oh, I remember when we saw it for the first time, we were like, what does that do? And we were kind of like, and they said, put your phone in it, put it on your camera, and we all went, oh, no, you didn't, because we all went, that is brilliant.
Right. So now, let's move up in terms of expense. Tripod. If you need to replace your tripod with a carbon fiber tripod and you want to carry something with you all the time, really right stuff. TQC14 travel tripod with a BH30 head. Extremely portable, like carbon fiber, really, really small, and it's been able to take a beating. I've taken this to Utah, to Arizona. I've stuck it in water, I've stuck it in pools, I've been on flowing rivers with it, and it's handled very, very well, and the pictures that I've produced are really good. Your tripod is only as good as your willingness to want to carry it. So at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you get something that's not going to be very, very cumbersome. This tripod is it for that. Make sure you go to reallyrightstuff.com, take a look at the TQC14 with a combination BH30 tripod head. This head, I've comfortably been able to use my D3S with a 7200 right on it. So it's going to lock tight, and it's going to be very, very beautiful. The last thing, if you want to make sure that you really top the scales of most of that stuff, make sure you take a look at the HP Envy 15. These laptops are using the new Core i7 technology, which is going to give you a lot of processing power and very, very low power consumption. So you've got great energy rating, you've got great battery lives, you've got phenomenal performance inside of a PC architecture that's going to take your post-processing and make that post-processing be really, really good. For more information on this, make sure that you go to hp.com. Like that? All nice and clean?
Smooth.
All gifts on a budget.
I figured I'd set it up in a position where I could just go from one point to another point to another point to another point and be like, bam, I'm done, guys.
Okay, all right. So I think it's time for another quick tip. Pete, do you have one handy?
I do have another tip handy. And this is one that is probably one of those that it was hidden in Photoshop CS5, and some of y'all might not know what to do with this, or maybe have not seen a way to use it before, but underneath the crop tool here is the perspective crop tool. And this is really kind of neat. If you've got an image, let's say you've taken a picture and it's slightly off perspective, and you need to make sure that that picture, say this board right here, is going to be as if I shot it straight on, well, then you just simply come over to the crop tool here, go to the perspective crop tool, and you start by hitting one of the corners, and then you drag down to the next one. And that seems pretty normal, but I really like this next step, because once I click on that, I feel kind of like Spider-Man when I do this, because it pulls this grid across, but I feel like I've got this web. And what you're doing is you're just wanting to get all four corners. It helps if I don't put both corners there. Let's drag it up here. The great thing is, if you mess up, you can just simply grab the corners and reshape them. But okay, so I get it like that, and then all I have to do is hit return, and it does all the work for me. It straightens it out and acts like I took that picture directly in front of it. It takes the perspective out and makes it perfectly straight. And I think it's phenomenal. A lot of people don't think to use that. But here's another way that you can do it. Let's say you do a shot like this. I was out on the streets in Vegas, and it doesn't have to be just a regular sign. What if I want to use this sign for some sort of element in something else? I can come in here and do the same thing. That always just makes me happy when I do that web sling across there. I hit that and then hit return, and it does an amazing job of just straightening that out in no time at all. I don't have to work with distort or anything like that. It processes it, it figures it out, it does its voodoo, and now I've got the straight-on shot of the sign that I didn't have normally. So it's a great way to rescue something if it's a little bit off, or create textures or elements from shots that you have in other photographs that you may want to use in a different way. So it's just simply that perspective crop tool underneath the crop tool. Real simple, real easy, and real effective.
And that's been in our past couple of versions. That's
Has
something
it?
I keep forgetting.
Yeah, it's one of those that just kind of hides in there and you forget about it, but then you start thinking about the potential, what you could do with it.
But yeah, but you're right though. I mean, every time I've used it, it really straightens it out a lot better than you think it would.
Right.
You know? So even if it does a little bit of resampling, it's doing it pretty sharply. And actually, I like that. So, all right. Before we take a quick break,
I'm just nerding out.
RC, what are you doing?
You know what? I'm just nerding out over here.
Okay, everybody, look here.
Look
watch
right here.
Watch the fun show.
Watch the fun show. No, the other thing that I'm really nerding out about is what I like about this is not only does this work well with kids, but if you guys know that I'm a big fan of Google+. We all are. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I've seen out there that people do is what's called a virtual photo walk. Look on Google+. If you go to Google+ and you just type in virtual photo walks, you'll see this section here, this page. This virtual photo walks page is something that I think, let me bring it into community. What I think is awesome with this, people that are bedridden because of illnesses, right, don't get out to do photography. Mm-hmm. They appreciate photography, they enjoy photography. This page on Google+, what they do is they sign people up to go out and do photo walks for people, and what they'll do is they'll do this exact same setup. They'll go out and take pictures, and they take their phone, and rather than have their phone broadcasting a show, they'll turn it this way, and they'll start a Google+ Hangout. And now,
they can almost help compose the shot.
Yep.
From their room or whatever.
So now people are going out all over the world and taking photo walks with people and bringing them online, doing it virtually. And now there's people that are just sitting there that are not allowed to be able to move, you know, debilitating illnesses and things like that. And you can bring them along on the ride for Photoshop walk. For a photo walk. So this is a technology that I thought was really, really cool. But not only does it have a fun gimmicky thing, but it also can do some social good. So I thought that was actually kind of cool.
It's definitely. Wow. All right, I'm going to throw in one more product, if I may.
Sure.
Because every year I do this because I geek out, because I can't do anything in Photoshop without it. It is my Intuos 5. This is the small Intuos 5 tablet. Love it. I can't do a thing without it. I have to have it wherever I go. I actually prefer the small because it, you can actually see it. Oh, this one's got some wear on it. Look at that.
You have been wearing that thing out.
I have been using this thing like crazy. But yeah, I like the small. People always ask me, what size should I get? And I says, you know, it really depends on where you're going to be using it. I tend to travel, and I just like the small because of the portability. I like to be able to take it and throw it in my bag and be able to go. The medium is travel. You like the medium yourself,
I do like the medium. Part of it comes down to not only how you're going to carry it around, but what kind of style you use. If you I tend to be more artistic. Yeah. I've got more kind of flowing around here. If you've tend to be more of your hand instead of your arm. It makes a difference.
So you tend to use larger gestures, whereas I'm more just kind of like pivoting on my hand here. So the smaller tablet area works well for me. But also doesn't come with, but it actually has the wireless kit. You can actually add to it. It's retail. It's about $40 to make the tablet wireless, because you can unplug it and actually go and make it wireless wherever you go. So wherever you go near your computer, of course. But yeah, definitely, I love this. Want to check it out? It starts at around about $230 for the small base, and then they go up from there. But definitely check them out. They come in small, medium, and large, and of course the Cintiq, not to forget.
Well, I was going to say we both want the Cintiq, the new 24 HD Touch,
the new 24
for
HD
Christmas.
Touch. Yes,
you know, really. Wife, forget about the 1.4 converter. I really want the Cintiq.
Actually, I just remembered of two other products that we got to talk about. We have to talk about.
Oh, of course.
Hard drives. Hard drives and storage. Hard drives and storage.
Yep.
So over here, this is what happens. whenever you're working with stuff, with portability, with photography, images, and all of that kind of stuff, you need to store them. You're going to need to back them up somewhere. So where do you back them up? For the longest time, I've been backing up my stuff on LaCie drives. So these rugged orange LaCie drives, which I got to be honest with you, don't work for me at all. They're like glorified USB 2 drives. All the ports burn on them. And I never really said anything about it. I thought it was, I was just like, it's just me. I'm like, I just messed up. But until I went on tour, and people were like, what are those orange drives? And I'm like, guys, I can't recommend this stuff. It just doesn't work for me. People are like, oh my God, they burn on me too. So it's something that seems to be a problem. It's something that seems to be pervasive enough, and I'm very, very dissatisfied with them. And I've been moving slowly to 2 different types of solutions that I wanted to talk to people about. One of them is from G-Tech. So the first thing that I did here is I moved to a G-RAID with Thunderbolt. I got one of these, and it's phenomenal for backing up. So these solutions are for computer-attached solutions, something that's attached to the computer to do stuff. So the G-RAID with Thunderbolt is the first thing that I do here. This is where all of my stuff gets backed up to. This is going to be very disconcerting if you guys keep watching this. So I'll go ahead and I'll just move this.
People are still just
I'm looking at his iPhone. So the G-RAID with Thunderbolt is something that I think is really, really good. This is part of the connected backup strategy. Then from here, what I do is I usually keep these G-RAID mobile USBs. So if you want to find out which one you can use for yourself, the best way for you to do it is just to go to their product site and take a look at which one. I'm looking for something that's going to have USB 3, so I'm going to go to the G Drive mobile USB. That's probably what I'm going to want to switch those LaCie drives to going forward. Then the G-RAID Thunderbolt would be what's connected. If you're looking for something that's networked, as well as very, very intricately involved with headless client systems and things like that, I would recommend to you something like the Synology. Synology has this system called the DS1812, which is a NAS server. It can go all the way out to 18 drives if you needed to. But the good part about this is that if you are technically inclined, you can set these systems up to use headless clients, which are just these programs that you can feed into the machine.
I've had a bunch of clients like that.
So in here, imagine, think of it this way. The easiest way for you to think about it is if you have a connected system and you use something like CrashPlan, that means that your computer needs to be there running CrashPlan in order for it to work. So if I have, let's say that I have a DS1812, right, sitting over here, what I can do is I can install a CrashPlan program into this, and it doesn't have a head, it doesn't have a monitor, doesn't have a computer, doesn't have anything, and it runs CrashPlan. So this box could be sitting somewhere running a backup program, and you don't have to have your computer attached to it. That requires a certain amount of technical knowledge, but not too bad. I think I'm going to be doing a video on how to do all of this kind of stuff so that people have different solutions. But the DS1812 is great. The G-RAID with Thunderbolt is great. And if you want to move to a mobile setup, the G-Drive mobile USB. All of them available from G-Tech.
I don't think you can go take too many measures to back up your data.
Nope.
I mean, you really...
No. We're actually going to try to do a class on Photoshop World talking about backup strategies and what to use and what
seems that much more. I mean, it always seems relevant, but it seems that much more relevant nowadays.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely is.
Fabulous. All right, let's take another quick break. We're going to come back, do some giveaways, and close up the show. So stay with us.
Come on, Corey, look at the podcast. Look at the podcast.
Don't
look at the
look
podcast.
at the camera.
Look at the podcast.
No, I can't. All right, we're back. All right, so let's go to close things up by doing some giveaways. We've talked about all this stuff you can go out and buy, but why not help your wallet a little bit by giving away something? So before we go into what we're going to give away, go to kelbytv.com/contest. You're going to go right here into the pull-down menu, go to PhotoshopUser TV, enter your name, email, your website if you wish, and enter a comment. Tell us what you liked about the show, what kind of gear you're planning on buying us for Christmas, or anyone else, or of course anything else you'd like to see on the show, Photoshop-wise, or anything like that. And if you do so, we will pick a winner at random, and you will receive what we have here. Not all this, but just whatever he has in his hand. Right.
You don't want this. This is actually full of sand. I got to go clean it out and do all that stuff. So that's mine. Sorry. But at Rogue FlashBenders. Now, I have a set of these in my bag. You have a set of these in your bag.
Yep.
You have played with it. You want a set in your bag.
I don't have yet.
Right.
Yes.
So, if you want to get something that's collapsible, very, very easy for you to use. And a great modifier for your FlashBenders is this. Basically, think of it this way: small, far away, not very, very good. If you can take those flashes and you can make those flashes bigger and you have the ability to bounce and reflect, this is what's going to give you that ability, and it's portable enough for you to do so. The other thing is Rogue gels. Coloring your light can make a dramatic impact in your photography. They make this actually very, very easy with a great little system, nice little wallet, nice little rubber band. Everything is labeled, so you have a ton of different options that you can use to light your subjects. So all of this information right there. So it's not just a set of gels. They're labeled, they're colored, they're organized. It's a great, great, great set. If you want to see more of that kind of stuff, you can always go to expoimaging.com and do a search for the Rogue FlashBenders. This will give you all of the information that you need on how you would use it, why you would use it, and all of the different needs for it.
Well, one of the things I love about Rogue is they think about your camera bag too. You can tell they've decided, okay, how's this going to pack in there? Because if, just like the tripod, if you're not going to get it in your bag, you're not going to use it. And so many of these items that they have fit in, and you can use them as dividers and all kinds of stuff like that. They just fit in your bag, so you can carry them with you everywhere.
With products, I think that's what people don't think about, that kind of stuff. People don't think about the they think about features more than they do the practicality of it. Like when I was looking for this, right, I went to Really Right Stuff. They're like, we have this tripod, it's compact, is it? And I'm like, you know what, forget it. Just give it to me. I've got to go test something. And they thought I was going to go shoot with it, and I didn't. I went back to the hotel room, and I said, can I drop it in my carry-on bag? Like this, straight down. And that's the first thing that I did. After that, I started looking at features. Once I saw that it fit, I was like, you know what? Now we're talking about something. And I think Rogue FlashBenders does that very, very well. But you can pack them right into your bag, and you can actually use them. You can't use them if they're not with you.
I mean, look at the way they're packaged. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
So
one of you guys is going to win that.
Absolutely. All right. Well, it's been a fabulous show. We've got, hopefully, give you some great ideas for the holidays. And, of course, don't forget to check out the Holiday Gear Guide in the latest issue of Photoshop User right here. There's a lot more gift ideas in there. And I want to thank you, RC.
Hey, man, not a problem.
You brought some toys today.
I know. I was just like, I wasn't playing. The Holiday Gift Guide has got a lot of stuff that we didn't even cover, from moon cards to Sigma lens. I mean, there's tons of stuff in here. I figured we can add to that by making it a great bounty of holiday gifts.
Absolutely. And Pete, thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You should have demoed the spider. I want to see your quick draw.
I should have. But I've demoed it in several other places. People are kind of getting tired of me demoing the spider because I just look so good wearing it. It just makes people jealous.
We're going to get him a hat, like a Western hat, and just draw.
Okay, so on behalf of everyone here and the rest of the Photoshop guys, we wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving, which is just, a couple days away now.
That's right. Just a couple of days away.
All right, well, take care, and we'll see you later.
Take care.